So NBA 2K19 is pretty much upon us now. For those of you who pre-ordered the special edition, you're going to be getting it Friday, and I have a feeling that's a lot of people because a lot of people aren't trying to wait till Monday and they're trying to get the gameplay over the weekend, and I fall into that category every year, so that means I am practically done playing NBA 2K18. After over 500 games, a lot of which I played on stream, I came into contact with basically every good player that you can play with online, and because of that, I have a great idea of the teams and players that people generally like to use and the ones that you just never see. So when NBA 2K19 drops, these are 4 players that I think you absolutely have to try to use online. The first one I'm gonna go is 02 Jason Kidd, and this is really by virtue of nobody ever picking the Nets, because I'm assuming by now a lot of this generation has no clue why the Nets were even in the finals, and you pick up the team screen and you have no clue. You really don't recognize a lot of people except for Jason Kidd. I also think he slept on because people would rather use like an 08 Chris Paul or an 11 Derrick Rose. Like, in terms of point guards, there's probably more exciting and more flashy and more athletic guys that you can use, but Jason Kidd definitely gets the job done. And after I lost the first 2 games playing with the Nets, I really unlocked his ability to get to the rim, scoring, and his court vision that's really important to the 02 Nets. And after that, I don't think I really lost with him again the whole time I used them. The thing about Kidd is that listed at 6'4", he's technically a big point guard, so he's going to be bigger than a lot of guys that he's matched up with, and that's a great opportunity to put him in the post. In 2K19, we are going to have a layup meter, which is something that's very common sense and that should have been there in the first place, because this is the year, or actually 2K17 was the year, right? Whichever year they had us start timing layups, we didn't have a meter to time them with. You had to go by your controller vibration, and online with the latency, that was just a terrible idea. So that made it a little bit difficult to use post moves, but this year I've seen that they worked on the post and you've got the meter, so Kidd in the post would definitely help you score. And then he's just extremely fun to pass with, especially if you're using flashy passes. And that's another reason I assume he's very slept on, because most people would rather dribble around with Derrick Rose and try to get to the rim, or they would like to dribble back and forth with Steph Curry and launch from half court, or if they actually care about passing that much, they'll just hand it off to Steve Nash or Chris Paul. So regardless of the mode you're playing in 2K19, give 02 Jason Kidd a chance, because I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Next up, and you 100% know this is true if you watch me on stream, do not sleep on 98 Kobe Bryant. And this is something that I learned this year, because 98 Kobe has been in the game for a long time now. For the longest, they had the 01 Lakers and they had the 98 Lakers, and I could never figure out why they gave us the Lakers where Kobe was on the bench. I was like, we have Kobe back then, especially we had Kobe in his prime and we had Kobe with Shaq in 01, and I was like, why would we want the one coming off the bench? For whatever reason in 2K, 98 Kobe rivals 01 Kobe, and I actually cannot say which one was better in the game. There was a game I was playing on stream about a month ago and I was struggling against the 11 Bulls. Then Kobe came out in the third quarter and probably dropped like 15 to 20 points like consecutively, and he gets hot really quick. He is wildly athletic. And I think the reason he works so well is because by virtue of him coming off the bench, you're really not forcing with him as much. So that 98 Lakers team as a whole is really slept on. You've got Van Exel, Eddie Jones, Shaq, Robert Horry, and for the most part, all of them can score. So when Kobe comes off the bench, it's not like with the 01 Lakers where generally people are always trying to use him, always trying to get to the rim with him, and they're making or missing their shots. But this Kobe comes off the bench after the defender has already had to deal with all these other guys like Eddie Jones and all the other scorers on that team, and it's way harder to deal with Kobe coming off the bench than when you know he's going to be coming at you from the start. So in short, 98 Kobe rivals 01 Kobe in 2K, whether that's right or wrong, and he slept on because people think exactly what I think. They're like, you had 01 Kobe, so why do I need to play with the one coming off the bench? And that's exactly how he sneaks up on you and whoever you're playing against. Now, I recommended Jason Kidd for all modes, whether you're playing My League or whatever mode you're playing. I think Jason Kidd is good for. To be honest, I think 98 Kobe is kind of specific to play now online because he has that surprise factor. If you're looking to use him in like a My League or something else, or I'm not really 100% sure how my team works with the cards because I know the ratings are a little bit different. Regardless, I just think his impact is a little bit specific to play now online in the team that he's playing on, because it's that surprise factor that makes him really special. However, you should unleash 07 LeBron on whatever mode you're using, and this is the most slept on player for a couple of years now. 07 LeBron has been one of the best players since he was introduced to the game in 2K16. I've said it before on stream and I said it in the one man team video, 07 LeBron rivals any LeBron in the game. Now obviously the 13 Heat LeBron is probably the best because of the size and the strength and the shooting. His 3-point shooting is definitely a little bit more polished, but 07 LeBron is so difficult to stop that he makes that entire 07 Cavs team one of the better play now online teams. And that right there is the reason they're slept on, because A, kind of just like Kobe, people figure that they have other LeBrons they should be using, so there's no reason to go to 07, and B, people have the stereotype about the 07 Cavs just being a terrible one-man team. Now, while they are kind of that, they are, they're sort of a one-man team, they've still got shooters everywhere around him, and the way that this 07 LeBron works is putting him in the post is kind of like, it's sort of like a trump card because it gives your opponent very few options. When 07 LeBron is in the post, your opponent either has to double team or he better be one of the best damn post defenders in history, because that's resulting in a dunk or a contact finish or an and one pretty much 100% of the time. And that's something that I found with all the young versions of the players, with 86 I believe, 86 Michael Jordan, and 98 Kobe and 07 LeBron. Their athleticism in these games are so overpowering, and it pretty much makes up, I think it's really to make up for the fact that the other versions are better at other things, but when you use athleticism like these guys have, I really had a game against the 16 Warriors, I believe, where LeBron had about 49 points, and it's because just nobody could stay in front of him. And because so much attention is put on LeBron, it really opens up the rest of the team, and whether you're using him on Play Now Online or you're using him on some other mode, if you have shooters surrounding him, it's pretty much just like it is with, or how it has been with LeBron his entire life. Shooters around LeBron makes a very hard team to beat. And the people who knew that were very difficult to beat. I probably only saw the 07 Cavs online about 3 times, and I don't think, I only beat them probably like once, to be honest. This one is very hard to put into words because it's kind of hard to justify saying like he slept on and then you have like a 13 LeBron James in the game. That sounds hard to justify, but just make sure at some point get around to using 07 LeBron in 2K19 and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, I promise. And last but definitely not least, I saved 93 Larry Johnson for the #1 spot because here lies a guy that I only ran into online one time the entire year. For some reason, nobody ever wanted to use the 93 Hornets, and when I got a hold of them, they actually became one of my favorite teams to use. And I'm not gonna lie, it had a ton to do with Larry Johnson. Larry might be one of the most, if not the most fluid moving power forward in the game because he's one of those tweeners. He's super athletic. He's like a tank, built like a tank. But to be honest, he could sort of pass for a small forward. The only reason he really can't in this day and age is because the 3-pointer is super important and he's not going to be knocking down 3-pointers. His release is very easy at times, so maybe you can get some, but he's not the guy you want standing in the corner when somebody else is penetrating. Now with that being said, for a power forward, he has handles out of this world because he's like a small forward. So for those of you who watched me use him on stream, you already know, because I was basically just using him to dominate people. One of the best things you can do with Larry Johnson is call a high post play. So you play like the high 4. If you can find anything that says high in your play menu for Larry Johnson, that's just going to put him in the high post and then you can face up your defender. With him being guarded by other big men, his footwork is superior and his speed is also superior. So you're really able to beat people off the dribble, and I even took the ball up the floor with him sometimes. I was running fast breaks with Larry Johnson. But the reason he's so dangerous in the high post is because of that mid-range shot. So there'd be a lot of plays where I just call a high play for him and I'd be jab stepping the defender, and if he's going to give me space, then you just pop the mid-range. If he doesn't give you space, you just dart to the rim because his foot speed is, if for a big man, I'm telling you, it's remarkable. And then his ability to finish is really superior as well because of his athleticism. Unlike other guys on this list, his younger version is the best version of him in the game. There is the version of him on the New York Knicks with Patrick Ewing, and that one is good too, but this one is the young prime Larry Johnson. So this is the one where you have the speed and you have the footwork, which you don't necessarily have on New York. It's sort of kind of there, but that athleticism is kind of deteriorated by then. And he's simply slept on because I guess for most people it's kind of hard to justify. If they're playing out of the post, they probably want like a Kevin Garnett or a Tim Duncan or an Amari Stoudemire. All those names sound more appealing. So yeah, Larry Johnson is definitely slept on, and in NBA 2K19, if you don't use him, you're playing yourself. So yeah, those are the 4 players that I think were very slept on in NBA 2K18, and those are guys that you should not sleep on in 2K19 if they're still there. From year to year, they've been there. A lot of these guys have been in 2K for a very long time now, so I highly doubt they're going anywhere. And when they don't, make sure to get some runs with them in online or whatever mode you play. Make sure to try to get some runs with them where they fit next year. If you have any players that you think were slept on or are gonna be slept on in NBA 2K19 that people shouldn't be sleeping on, make sure to leave that in the comment section. Hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.